Welcome to the Jordan Leer program, the 100th edition. Episode 100, the centennial. All about the Benjamins, baby. Keeping it 100. The Jordan Leer program is a comedic, surrealistic, fictional, multimedia creation. It's full of all sorts of shiza. We got stand-up comedy. We have music, often guitar. That's about all I know how to play. And we got comedic ramblings on the world around us. Myself, the nature, sports, Michigan State mostly. That's what I hyper-focus on. What else this thing amounts to be? Sometimes I get a comedian on here and we talk, I don't even know. Usually, trying to get this whole podcast off the ground. When you ask a comedian to be on your show and it's not their show, you ask them the same question over and over again. And that is, will you please stop looking at your phone? Bro, I drove over to your place to do the podcast. It's my fucking podcast. Interviewed this guy, Dave Gregory. I think that was my last. I don't know. You do podcasts. I did the cable show, whatever the fuck that was. Podcasting. Hey, we survived it. Episode 100. I've been doing comedy since 2011, let's say. Yeah, that is the exact time. And I have been around long enough to where it was just Adam Carolla doing this shit. Pre-Joe Rogan, and then even Rogan did it, and it was him just on fucking, his it was like a live cam episode or whatever. And, hey, if you've survived with the Jordan Leer program, you've went along for the ride because we, and I'll use the collective of we, because I'm a famous person, we have survived, Venom and I, podcasting when everyone was saying, don't do it because it's stupid, it's nothing. What even is that? You're just posting yourself talking, which that's all it fucking is anyways. And then within 2 or 3 years, the shit got too saturated. I'm doing that fucking Louis C.K. hand, as they used to tell me. It got too saturated where they're like, everyone's got a podcast. What, we need another podcast? Mine's about movies. Mine's about relationships. Fuck, Yeah, don't you hate that? Like everyone's doing it. Don't do it. It's like eating. Hey, what was I saying? Thou have survived. Oh, and now podcasting they're giving Emmys. They gave Emmys. It's very produced now, It needs to be a little audio version, which if you are a fan of the show, the last few have just been audio. Kind of a return to form. Old school. It's the 100th episode. You have reflections on your life. Another disclaimer, as I said before, this is not a reflection of real life. Any ramblings here are just bibbly-babbly, fictional bullshit. Nothing's real here, people. But being episode 100 and doing comedy well over a decade, as you can see, I decided it's time to grow up. It's time to stop with the wimbly bimbly flippin' fucking dreamin' pie in the sky ideas, okay? I used to be a dreamer. I used to have a youthful mind. I used to have aspirations, things I wanted out of life, okay? And it's time to fucking grow up. All right? Quit with that bullshit. Oh, I'm going to make a lot of money and have a thing in a regular life. Stop it. You need to fucking grow up and put on some real fucking clothes. Okay? Quit with the suit and tie fucking bullshit. You need to put on an alien onesie. I'm going to start taking this shit seriously, okay? I'll be honest with you. For the first 12 years of comedy, I went out there, I supported myself. I worked any job I could find. Uber. I mean, do you need to say anything more than that? I drove fucking Uber in Los Angeles. Postmates. picking up coffee, working as a PA member, videotaping fucking whatever, videotaping this, videotaping something that's fake, not getting paid for the fucking shit, picking up trash, taking out trash. There's nothing wrong with that, but when your income is, the bottom end of people's lives, fuck! It's time to grow up, okay? And what I mean by that, no more supporting myself responsibly through dreams. I need to go hard, okay? If I'm going to do comedy, I need to take it seriously. I need to be shooting up with heroin. I've never done heroin in my life. Guess what? Shot up with some right before this podcast. Oh, yeah. It was an empty syringe. It was an air bubble straight to the vein, but, a boy can dream. You gotta start out small. Time to fucking grow up, okay? I don't know if you can tell, but I bought this little ring-a-ling from a candy machine because they say dress for the job you want, and I will be married. I will be married. This is a sign that I am married to comedy for the rest of my fucking life. So Adam Carolla, okay, who y'all probably didn't realize, but he got kicked out of Hollywood long ago, and he kicked off the podcasting thing before Joe Rogan, pre-J-Rar. I'm challenging him. I'm the fucking godfather of podcasting now, okay? It's me. And I wear a suit and tie from now on, motherfucker. Yeah, and that's right. This hat says butt. I bought it from fellow comedian Chris Gardner, one of my fucking funniest comedians. Best friends in comedy ever had. Man, I wonder if he still sells these butt jokes. He sells these butt hats. He used to tell these butt jokes. I don't know. So it's almost like so inside. You got to know Chris. Because it's not like one joke. It's kind of this essence that he kind of had from like 2013 to 2020. These butt jokes. He probably still does. I don't know. But never leaves. Anyways, taking shit seriously. Okay. I'm going to start doing this podcast in a way where I'm whipping out my credit card and paying for views. You can pay like $20 on TikTok for 1,000 views or some shit. What the fuck? I'm going to start a serious monetary addiction, okay? Because I've always just basically measured myself in time for this shit, paid the bills, paid in real life. No. I need to start going under. I need to find a woman to take advantage monetarily, okay? If you have any other ideas how I can get this podcast lifted, gifted higher than the ceiling, I don't know. Maybe I'm having a mental breakdown because Noah Khan's album came out today. I don't know. If any people date women out there in the world, some of them like Noah Khan, okay? And Noah Khan has the most beautiful voice in guitar playing you've ever heard in your life. And men, please don't let your women listen to this devil known as Noah Khan, okay? Because she will never listen to a fucking thing you say again. And if you're a little hobby guitarist on the side, it's never going to make her climax the way old Noah Khan was. When I'm leaving, I'm gonna go to bed you. Dude's fucking good, okay? Don't let her listen to it, okay? If you let your woman listen to Noah Khan, your life will be over. It'll be fucking finished. And your marriage will have just begun because she's going to take you for everything you've got. Okay? Do you have a boat? Well, you're going to have to split it with her and Noah Khan from now on. That rhymes. From West Michigan, born and raised. They got UFO stories interlocking for gays. As I said at the beginning of this podcast, I'm going to start taking the shit seriously. All right? You ever in your mid-30s doing mid comedy, and someone's like, "So what do what's next for your life?" And you're like, "I don't know, man. I should probably get like T-shirts made, right? Yeah, yeah, that'll do it." Comedy advice. I've had multiple people from my hometown like send me Facebook messages saying, "Have you heard of this show, Kill Tony?" I'm like, "Yeah." No, I'm gonna go run into a fucking pitchfork on your hog farm. Like, I will get T-shirts made though, and I will take this a little bit more seriously. Right? All right. I feel like that's ample. You know, I always put out a podcast, just wanted to do it, and right before I'm like, "What's the thesis?" Like that was it. Okay. So next on the Jordan Leer program, we got a big show for the 100th. You know, also the music and everything. I should have said this off the top. It's brought to you by me. Find it on JordanLear.com. Listen to Jeopardy Loser or what was the other Shiza I made? It isn't Shiza. Oh, Jail Lizard. That other album I made. Find that or any of my films. You know, I'm a filmmaker. Or if you want to pitch me to Law and Order, I'm also an actor. Cast me! All right. That'll conclude the first part of this serious show. And next we're going to do the sports report. I think we're going to have maybe I'll just have a whole... Yeah, I was going to interview a guy, but I'll have him on instead. We're going to have Johnny Loser on, our sports gambling expert. And then we're going to talk about Michigan State, Chicago Cubs, the Tigers being the new AL team, gambling $1 on a Phoenix Suns game. Oh, and the NFL draft. Okay, yeah. Fucking Philly stealing a pick from Steelers. And then, we're also going to have Science and Nature with Jim Lakin. I think we're going to bring Jim Lakin, that shitty character, on. A little Gardening 101. And I think we also have a news segment later. Yes, that's correct. It's going to be news with Jared legislation. Talking about war and aliens and Geostorm 2. Oh, and then as usual, we're going to do the rundown. We're going to do the arts segment. We're going to talk books. Might do a book report on The Hobbit. Talk a little television about Daredevil, about a 6-year-old man winning a boxing match, Love is Blind, WWE, and WrestleMania. And also fair share of movies celebrating Earth Day, Lord of the Rings universe, Jane Silent Bob, some stuff like that. This is incoherent ramblings. I hope this helps you feel better about your life. Hi. Promise I'm not robbing this place. I live here. Oh, no. It's my neighbors. Is Joey Loser from New Jersey. Welcome back to the Jordan Lear program. I'm gonna try to stretch out this character and this accent. I don't know. I just kind of thought of it. I was like, I want to do something different. You know, my name's Joey Loser. I'm from Hoboken. Went to school in Bergen. I love Michigan State and the Chicago Cubs and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yins like them. My wife's my only listener. She ain't gonna listen to this show no more. She can't keep this shit up. She's like, I can't ride or die with this shit no more. This is a sports report. Michigan State. I can't keep that fucking accent up. I don't know. I just want to do something different. Maybe dressing different's enough. What do I have to say about sports, guys? Still trying to let go of Michigan State losing. I don't think I've done a podcast since... Yeah, I didn't even want to talk about it. Yeah. Ruined my whole bachelor party in my mind. Thanks for losing, assholes. That was a nice season. Here's some things, and I really... I'm trying to, you want to be in Michigan State, but, you don't really follow baseball? I don't know. I could try. I could try. Can you gamble on it? That would help. I don't know. But yeah, I'm a Michigan State guy. Allegedly, yeah. Joey Loser, he went to spot. He's a spot, and Joey Loser went to East Lansing, stayed in Holden. Yeah. Then over at Delta Arms. Anyways, but it's like there's so long before football season. It's like I can't get that ramped up for football now because there's a lot of games you could lose anyways. But basketball. Okay. We got a new center. This dude transferred from Charlotte, a tiny school no one's ever heard of, but we got someone. And Carson Cooper could come back for a fifth year. His reason's a dream. I mean, theoretically, Jace Richardson could fucking come back for, so there's reasons. And I just feel, and it looks like Divine is leaving. Divine, he's leaving. God bless him. Barely saw him play. I'm fine with that. Let's send you and guys some more shots. I never met Divine anyways. Sorry. Haven't met Cohen Carr, but I would cry if he left. So that's it for the Joey Loser. I think you got to put it all in on State next year. I lost my home because I put a 3-pick parlay on State, Steelers, Cubs in the World Series, and none of them, But you got to put another band in. It's like 4-card Keno. You put the 4 on the 5, on the 6, on the 7, on the 8. You can't lose. Unless you stop having fun. Then you lose. All right. I am watching baseball casually. I hate to say it, but it's really mostly in like TikTok form. TikTok and Instagram. I hate that about myself. They took away WGN. What am I supposed to do? Cover yourself up. Joey Lawrence back up in here. Here's the thing about spring baseball. I like it, but I wish they didn't keep score. Cubs are winning too. It's just too much pressure. I wish they didn't even start keeping score until July. Is that wrong? It's baseball. It's baseball. I want to have a champion eventually, but gosh. Even this, especially the spring shit. Part of me was thinking, I was like, oh, it's cold. So, like, if you can play now in the cold, get yourself ready to play in the fall when it's cold. Because, let's face it, when playoffs come around for baseball, it sucks out there. It's kind of cool because it's like, it's tough. They're all bundled up. Wearing, like, parkas and shit out there. I love baseball so much, and I rarely ever play it. It's my biggest regret over this last year. I haven't played enough baseball. But who would you play it with? Baseball's wasted on kids. It really is. It is you shouldn't be allowed to play baseball till you're 20, okay? I've played so little baseball in my 20s, and I loved playing it as a kid. I was good, too. I was all right. Maybe I just had fun out there. Maybe I was just out there. I remember crying sometimes. All right, what else in sports? Oh, I decided to pick a team because I forgot, I've went over this in this podcast before, but, I've been addicted to watching sports before, and I've went like 10 years cold turkey just doing artsy-fartsy shit. So I know I don't need it. But if I am going to watch a little baseball, I think I'm going to watch a little Tigers this year. In the Michigan area, just try and enjoy it. I was always a west side of the state guy. That's the east side. It's different, but I'm embracing. I'm trying to. My fear is that if I root for the fucking Tigers, that I'm gonna be friends with some like Wolverine fans and shit. And I'm like, I'm not trying to do all that, man. It's not that. Okay. I'm not trying to like go out of my way. I guess I am, because I probably don't mention a single podcast without mentioning my rivalry for the blue and yeller. Okay. And Joey, fuck, why am I looking around like he's this right? Joey Loser, that was the name of this character. I lost my house on a 3-pick parlay. To wrap it up, in sports gambling, I got 2 more things for Joey. Watching the NBA basketball. Some of those guys suck. I didn't watch any. I never watch NBA basketball, but like, you know, I used to live in Arizona, so I feel like I got some ties. I used to get these badass Charles Barkley jerseys from my cousin as hand me downs. I had like all three. I had the black, the white, and the purple one. Anyways, I love the Suns in my head. I always play them on NBA Jam, but they're the playoffs right now. And I'm just watching this playoff basketball and like a lot of these guys suck. They really don't look like they're playing together out there. Dare. Is that a hot take about NBA after watching like intense college March Madness basketball where, as Fernando Mendoza would say, we're a glue. The NBA teams suck. I mean, I'm sure objectively, obviously you've got the best players, but like the teams are terrible. Ooh, is that a hot take? Fucking Joey Loser giving a hot take. Hey, Dallas Mavericks, 2011. That's the last time you had a team out there. Ooh. I don't know anything about sports or basketball, but I can regurgitate some things I've learned on SportsCenter from like 20 years ago. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, Joey Loser. There he is. I get you a 3-pick parlay tonight. Don't you fucking worry. What does that even mean? Okay. I had one more thing. I wanted to round it out. The NFL draft. Man. You're at an unfortunate place in life where you watched so much football week to week about teams you didn't even give a fart about. That you're watching the draft. I watched it last night and I was like watching. I was like, look at this. Oh man. Philly trades ahead to get the pick from the Steelers. That is such okay. If anyone gives an F about the draft, here's two things. Yeah, the Rams taking Ty Simpson. I don't know. Obviously, it could be good, but it's not. It's a stupid move. The fucking GM was doing his friend a favor. The GM's like friends with Ty Simpson's dad. Literally, that's why he did that. Sean McVay, the actual coach, didn't want to do that shit. This guy's not going to contribute. It's like, well, what if Matthew Stafford goes down? Well, then the season's fucked either way, man. It's like when they used to practice, in Indy during Peyton's first, 5 years. And they're like, what if he goes down? They're like, yeah, we're all fucked. And that's the case there, man. Anyways, you could have drafted another good weapon, like a cornerback, which I guess they did later. But anyways, you could have got a top one or a top offensive tackle or a different weapon or somebody else that's relatively cheap for the salary cap for the first year. Anyways, there's that. And then Philadelphia trading ahead to swipe a wide receiver that Pittsburgh was about to take is just the most Philly move ever. Because they got, A.J. Brown, their legitimately awesome wide receiver that they've pissed off and just would rather stay pissed at than try and reconcile and support. And they draft a wide receiver to, number one, slight him, but two, to jump ahead of Pittsburgh in their own city, to take it from them, to be like, fuck you, fans, yeah. And it doesn't really help them. Yeah, they should have jumped way ahead. They should have got Ty Simpson or some shit. I don't know. Wow, I can't believe I've watched enough NFL to care about that shit. I did. I liked it. Is there anything other notes? Oh, Fernando Mendizo. He's going to Las Vegas where, hey, our boy, Captain Kirk, fellow alum with me, same year as I. They're going to play in Las Vegas together. It'll be a nice thing. Kurt's going to take the snaps and teach him how to play, and then Fernando's going to get in there and get some shots off and have a good time, Maybe Kurt goes down for a play or two. Fernando has to go in there, and they work it out all together. It's a jolly good time. Or they both relapse and end up falling to the sin of the city. Huh? Imagine that. Imagine it's Fernando Mendoza and it's Kirk Cousins, week 1. They both play equal amounts. Kirk plays the first and fourth. Fernando plays the second and third quarter. And then they go out for a nice, just, wholesome time. Maybe get a meal at Guy Fieri on the strip after, and they're just talking, and, someone comes around. It's one of those shot girls, and they tip their head back, and they're like, "Do you want one?" They're like, "Whoa!" And the girls just like tip it back, and they're like, "Whoa!" And they both say like, "I haven't drank in like 10 years." And it's like, "Me neither." And then they both just relapse, and then they go out on the strip, and they take a piece of candy from a stranger. They think it's just a piece of candy, and it turns out to be this, I don't know, drug I've never heard of. It's called like LSD or something like that. And they just start tripping, and they try and do their whole time trying to find the fucking Bellagio fountain. And then they start throwing the ball back and forth, but it's not a ball. It's a live fucking chimpanzee. Okay, it's a live chimpanzee, and then people got their selfies out, and they see it's animal abuse all over. Okay, and then before you know it, Max Crosby comes in, and he has to like super kick both of them. He saves the day, but then you're down 2 quarterbacks. Who's gonna play quarterback then? Huh? Bet you're wishing you took Ty Simpson. Is that incoherent for you? That's the show I would play at the Sphere if I was running that place. Just saying. Joey Loser. We got any more for the 100th? I don't think so. I think that concludes the sports segment. Probably move on to some news next. And maybe a little science and nature. It's not over yet. Welcome. I guess put the mic in here. Welcome back. I am alien correspondent Lord Zendaya, Euphoria, Tom Holland. That's my name. Here to give you the news report from our alien correspondent. That's me. Jordan Leer would never give his thoughts on world politics. Fiction. It's a fictional creation. Everything is blubber blabber nonsense. Don't take it seriously if you do. And maybe you have some anyways. Okay, what do I want to say? Lord Xenu, Zendaya, Euphoria, Tom Holland. Guys, like 12 scientists. I don't know any of their names because I only know Zendaya and Tom Holland. But 12 scientists have just mysteriously died, and they keep dying every day. And one of them just died, David Wilcox, the guy who's on some Ancient Aliens show or something, which even is crazier because I thought that show was bullshit, but now I think it's real. Fuck. They keep offering people something big is about to happen. It's like a movie, and the Epstein files I don't even know what. And I'm just distracted by Michigan State and who's going to play center next year. Is it going to be that fucking Ethan Taylor guy, that new young badass? Or is it going to be this transfer? Or is Carson Cooper coming back? Okay, they keep yelling. People 12, and people say it might have something to do with free energy or some shit, or outer space. I don't know if that moon thing was real or not. I don't know. I have no reason to think any of this shit's fake or that is. I don't know. Is this not bigger news? I mean, in the corruption. I'm tired of the disrespect. 12. You know what? And of the 12 scientists that have died, there's probably 10 more that people are why wasn't I on the fucking list, man? Yeah. I don't know. I know 26 people that have died doing jokes that I've met over the course of 12 years. Ugh, there's 12 scientists. I can't even name their science. You know, it ain't no Bane farmer, I'll tell you that much. Fucking, it's like astrophysicists and astronomers and I don't know, astrology, I don't know. Maybe they're just palm readers. Maybe it's just they keep killing people that are do zodiac readings, or you ever go take an aura picture, you know, they take a picture and there's like a picture of your aura and the color around says something about you. I never did. I don't know, I guess that's all for the news report from Zendaya, Tom Holland, Euphoria. You know, I don't mind if like we're being manipulated. Can I just have a little insight? Or maybe I don't want to know. I don't know. Government, the world, the news. Who's gonna play center for Michigan State? Start coming next November. Better figure it out. All right, let's see it in the news segment. Welcome back to the Jordan Leer program. Here, your resident science and nature expert, Jim Lakin, here to give you a lesson on growing some shit today. Yeah, we loading up all sorts of shit. My acting teacher used to tell me, it isn't shit. What the fuck you call that for? I don't know the ins and outs of gardening, what you should or shouldn't do. I'm about a month out and planting some watermelons. Maybe some pumpkins too. But in the meantime, you gotta know what you know. All I know is I grow some shit. Take your scraps. I'm a shitty fucking farmer, I'll tell you that. I'm better off tossing in some leaves and some scraps. You don't need to see my trailer. I ain't no failure. I ain't in a trailer. I ain't no failure. I ain't in the trailer. See, when you grow shit, you need to go to Meyer every day. It's good for you. Put shit in there. Get your lawn stockings. Get your trimmings. I put my laundry land into that shit. Coffee grounds. Drinking coffee all day. Might as well use that shit for something. Might as well use it for shit. Shit. Close it down. No plastics. No wax sticks. Roll Tide. How you feel about it, Mousy? Well, you know it. We're gonna have some good shit. Eventually, we're gonna get a fucking whole bunch of poppy seeds planted. We're gonna have a new opium empire out here. You know what I mean? Out here in the sticks, out here in the country, where you get your kicks. We'll be growing that opium on there. Yeah. We're only gonna sell to seniors. We're gonna make them smoke it too. You over the age of 65, you got back problems. Come on down to Ming Farms, Ming Dynasty. It's a new Ming Dynasty. New opium. I'll get the slogan for it later. Alright, this has been the Science and Nature portion of the Jordan Leer program. Welcome back to the Jordan Leer program. Now time for the most sacred part of this television program. It is the program. This is where I list off all the movies and books and television shows and things on a screen or on a page that I've freaking watched. And it helps me ramble about nonsense. And sometimes it's an opinion about how I feel about that art piece. And sometimes it's something I will redact immediately because I was just saying it. It's just word regurgitation. Here's the list, guys. I'm going to kick it right over to Jimmy Literature, our literature correspondent, to go over two books that were read. Bring in now Jimmy Literature. Here he is. Here's Jimmy Literature. Yes, here, Jimmy Literature. A fine book called The Sirens of Titan by Kurt Vonnegut. It was read, somewhat read, mostly skimmed, looked over. laughed at, hooted about, liked a lot of things. All right, here's my. I'm gonna put this up. Here's my 1 minute book review about Kurt Vonnegut, The Sirens of Titan. Okay, here we go. Number 1, I didn't read the whole thing. It's hard. I love Kurt Vonnegut, but man, he's out there. He is. You got to pull up the Wikipedia. And it's like, what's he talking about? Because even he's like, what am I talking about? Like, you pick up an old book, you don't expect it to be so like sci-fi. You're like, number 1, didn't realize that this dude was on hallucinogens back then. Probably come up with half this shiza. You think of Kurt Vonnegut, you think about some rootsy tootsy stuff, and it's not. It's like, this guy hates society, man. He's trying to express it in weird ways. Love Kurt Vonnegut. My favorite piece by him is probably If This Isn't Nice, What Is, which is a collection of essays and readings. But The Sirens of Titan, it's cool, man. It's important to read, to talk. It's important to read stuff that's weird from old, because you always think like about anything antiquated that it's kind of like rigid. And that's not why I couldn't get through it. This was like too out there. I was like, I need to understand Pink Floyd's music a little bit more before I can get into this. So, yeah. The Sirens of Titan. Look at that trippy cover. And then, let's keep it Ayatollah rock and roll and Chris Jericho. All right. I got The Hobbit. I was like, I'm going to read The Hobbit. It always shows up on classic lists of like things. I'm going to read The Hobbit. Never read it. I've seen Lord of the Rings. I didn't even watch the Hobbit movies before. I was like, okay, so here's my 1 minute The Hobbit review. Okay. Here's my 1 minute review of The Hobbit. Number 1, I haven't finished this book yet. Got most of the way through it. Number 2, it is as dense as you want it to be, but as light as you want it to be. It's like a very easy read in a ton of ways, and it's like there's daunting things, like trolls and dragons and darkness and mountains and goblins and shit, but it's pretty, it can feel as whimsical, even as close to death as The Hobbit comes in this. But it's as dense. You can tell that there's like a lot of mythology or lore like on the sides of it, and that there's a whole world to explore after this. But you don't have to. It's kind of like you can kind of just nap along the journey, just as Bilbo does with the dwarves. Number 2, the ring isn't that big of a deal. It's certainly not like in Lord of the Rings where like, we need to get rid of this fucking thing. Because in The Hobbit, he just kind of finds it and is like, haha, it's kind of cool. It's crafty. Gets me out of some situations. But it's like, it's not even what this whole thing's about. You'd think that he'd get it and they'd be like, oh my God, this is going to be a big fruitin' deal later, man. Let's take care of it. But it's just kind of this whimsy-dimsy part of the journey. I'll tell you something about life. But overall, I very much enjoy The Hobbit. Jimmy literature, I like it. And it makes me kind of like look at it nature and be like, ooh, I'm a hobbit. What does that mean? I like it. I can see how people could read this and get way too into Dungeons and Dragons and shit. Keep it light. Keep it light. Who knows? I'll get obsessed, dude. If Michigan State doesn't find a center by November, I'll be playing some D&D. I'll be in there. So, those are the books. After that, image change. It's time for wrestling. Man, it was the big old WrestleMania event. It was WrestleMania 43 this year. That's what I watched. I was actually in Las Vegas. Right, I'd left the day it started, if that says anything about WrestleMania. Man, it just seems like so many things in culture, unfortunately. And when I got home, I paid my money. I was like, give me the ESPN app. Let me watch this. And It's good matches. There's nothing wrong with the matches. Am I so wrong for watching WrestleMania and wanting to see something crazy that I didn't expect? They gave great matches. To all the performers. You're all amazing. Just like production-wise, storyline-wise, timing-wise. When John Cena stood there and he was like, we got to start with something big. And they flashed the Titantron. And it's just a slow reveal of WrestleMania 42. It's like they didn't even have. You thought someone was going to. You thought you can see Chris Jericho. You thought you were going to see a hologram of Hulk Hogan walking out or something. You thought you were going to see Sting from the rafters. I don't know. I know you can't have The Rock there every front door time, but somebody, man, I don't know. This felt so blah. Great matches, great performers. Even that, dude, I just wanted a little bit more. I don't know. What to say about that. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. It's like you don't need a bunch of interference, but I wanted like some sort of like storyline, other characters show up and pay off. I do like when other characters are involved in some way. At least and if they're not, that story needs to stand on its own enough, which it didn't. They were just shoving it down our throats that two great wrestlers, but sorry, it's not enough for me. Okay. All right, that's the WrestleMania report. What else on TV? I watched Love Is Blind. That's always pretty cool. They're getting closer. They're getting closer to the Love Is Blind I want to see. I want to see real mix-ups, like real. I don't know. How do I put this? Unexpected looks. Here's one thing. This is just gonna. They never have people. They never have little people on there. And wouldn't that put a little wrench in your thing? Okay? Maybe it wouldn't. And maybe I'm not saying it should or shouldn't. I'm just saying if you had Love Is Blind, if you had some, they never have anyone with any handicap or disabilities on there. Okay? That's true. I don't know. I can't pontificate too far on that thought. I'm like, I don't want to say this shit out loud. But you get what I'm getting at. They should have on Love Is Blind. I watched Daredevil. I auditioned for Daredevil fucking twice this year. Excuse me, I swore. This isn't real anyway. It's not real. I will take this down immediately if they actually want to cast me. Daredevil! I love Daredevil. Daredevil's my shiza. The man without fear. But, dude, you got Vincent D'Onofrio, one of the greatest actors of all time. Thankfully, because he's the only one that could pull it off. But he's playing Wilson Fisk. But they had this character in this last episode, and they showed him in a boxing match. Like, they're showing that, like, Wilson Fisk is boxing. He beats the hell out of someone. Because that's part of the Kingpin, He's a big, tough guy, but he is really, like, strong. But Vincent D'Onofrio is almost 70. He's not, like, it should be, someone in their mid-30s, someone in their 40s or something, it's enough, it's tough to buy. And I know it's a comic book movie, but it makes you wonder, after so many time, they don't give many new guys shots, man. It's like, if you made it in the 90s, that's who they're still hanging on to. And I don't want anybody else to. He's badass Kingpin, but man, you gotta show the boxing. Show him like as a younger version and use some fucking AI makeup on him or whatever. Show me Vincent D'Onofrio like in Full Metal Jacket. Fucking, bah! I am in a world of shit. Or even the D'Onofrio from Men in Black when he's the alien Edgar. Dude, he's an amazing actor. Anyways, I'm not here to fucking, I guess I am. Movies. I'll go in reverse order. It was Earth Day. So I put on A Bug's Life, Fern Gully, and Biodome. Bug's Life is lovely. I didn't really watch it before. They got a whole thing with the beef between like the grasshoppers making the ants their bitch. That's not even how life works, man. I hate to be like that, but usually when they anthropomorphize animals, you get a good lesson out of this. But I'm sitting here spinning my wheels thinking like, are grasshoppers really the pimps of ants? And then ants fuck up some grasshoppers sometimes. Usually takes a bunch. They got a dog pile a grasshopper, but had me confused. Okay, sorry, I got a little upset that I watched an animated movie and I was like, this isn't how real life works. Do ants? Is that really how they treat ants? Don't worry, the ants are fine. They're eating the grasshoppers. Grasshoppers are getting fucked up by praying mantises and ants. Gosh. That's a rough young grasshopper. That's a rough life. It's a rough life being a bug. That's a real bug's life. Like they have a dog called, but they should have like an anime, the real bug's life, and it's just grasshoppers getting their fucking heads bitten off. More grasshoppers. Poor GH. Poor me, my sinuses. Everything's blooming out here. Snivelly lively. And then I watched Ferngully, which is the greatest movie of all time, the greatest Earth Day movie of all time, the greatest Avatar movie of all time. It's na 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 na. I was watching Biodome. Biodome's silly. The real story of the Biodome, that's like based on a real story that went fucking haywire. I don't know. I don't even want to get into it. We'll also watch Jane Silent Bob reboot. Jane Silent Bob, I was watching Cheech and Chong, Fear and Loathing. I was watching a lot of like buddy movies. There's a lot of buddy movies. Those are like, Cheech and Chong, the Bill and Ted. Fear and Loathing. I had a friend who went to Vegas and he did some of the Fear and Loathing stuff, and he said talking to people was exactly like how that movie was. Yeah. So that's one thing. What do they know? What do I know? This is all work of fiction. Watch Casino. Casino is a good movie. Like, have you ever been to Vegas? Do I even want to say? Okay. This isn't even a big deal. It's a real driving town, man, but you can't drive anymore. And you can see watching Casino, because Casino takes place, in the 70s, the 80s, whatever. It's like, they're doing some badass shit. They're having fun. They're going over here. They're going over here. It's like, yeah, because you can drive to it. I got to, walk a mile to get lunch as a regular person, unless I call a fucking cab for everything. But even then, it's all landlocked. I don't know. That's how I know I'm old. I'm like, I miss old Vegas. What else? I was watching You've Got Mail, Palm Springs. I watched Wayne's World 1 and 2. This is Wayne's World 1 and 2. We're in a fruiting cycle. We're in a weird network cycle where Wayne's World, the dude had his own show, and the networks came in to buy it out, and they made it all corporate. And then he had to get it back and get it on his own again. That's what the podcast cycle is. That's the same. It's all underground, do it yourself, and the corporation comes in and takes it. And then you gotta try and get out of that. That's where we're in now. The corporations have snatched it up. And me, I've got the one that no one listens to yet. How do you like me now? Ha, ha, ha. It's weird watching Wayne's World. Especially how much of a musician he is. And I'm, obviously way too influenced by that movie. I'm sitting here doing the Wayne's World program. I'm like, wow, he really just did this. He just became Wayne. Ugh. That's good. And then I watched the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies. Man, and like I said, I haven't finished the Hobbit book, but I watched the Hobbit movies. No fucking idea what's going on in those movies. Maybe it's just too bumbling and laughing. I don't even hate them, you know? I remember at the time they came out, I was living in Los Angeles. I was like, anything corporate, I don't want to watch. I didn't even dislike them. I just couldn't follow them. Much like this podcast might be. To some of you young bucks out there. Some of you young bucks. Well, that probably does it for the old Jordan Leer program. Custodial wrap up. Go to my website, jordanleer.com. Listen to my music. You hear on the intro and outro of this, too. I got my albums, Jail Lizard. I got Jeopardy Loser. I got my movie coming out, Sex, Drugs, and Open Mics, a surrealistic mockumentary about aliens. I have plenty of other short films, some horror films, sci-fi films on my website. Check me out. Some acting. If you want to see me on Law and Order, make sure you pitch me to your local casting director. And that'll about do it. I'm not sure if I'm going to snip in to have a nature segment. Maybe I'll record it and put it in here. This has been the 100th episode, the centennial. 100 times I've shown up for this. More than that even, okay? Because I have a couple like podcasts of horror that aren't properly numbered. It's always called Podcast of Horror 666, Part 1, 2, and 3. So those are episodes 2. Those are short films in a way. So is this, okay? It's just a creation, free-flowing creation, okay? I don't want to get landlocked in some fucking Joe Rogan thing where I gotta interview politicians and scientists. It's like... one or two would be cool, but then people think you're serious. They think you really, and then you gotta mean it, okay? I never want to do that. My life's goal is to entertain, first and foremost, myself. And my cat. You can't see him, but I'm looking at him. If you listen to this, I love you. Truly. Because you're either my wife or my mother. And I do love you. Thank you for holding on strong. I promise to dedicate harder than ever before to comedy with these next 100 episodes. I will not be getting a real job anytime soon. And if you have anything detrimental to my health, I will be ingesting it, okay? I will be harming the loved ones around me to pursue a dream. I will do whatever it takes, okay? No more responsible, Jordan. Time to get down to the nitty-gritty band. You and me go fishing in the dark. Yeah, keep listening to the Jordan Leer program. Like, subscribe. Listen, don't. Start your own show called the Jordan Leer program. If someone does that, things are really going to start taking off around here. Just like we will to the moon one day. Greatest podcast of all time!